Okay, I'm Jackie Jacobs.
I'm Darcy Edwards.
I'm Karen Rosmus.
And we are group 2. And Darcy is our leader this week.
Okay, so this week we were to an organization within our community, and that has to do with family, and interview them. So, does anybody want to go first?
I can go first.
Or do we want to do it together, like answer each question? Or I kind of want to do it individually so we can like hear everything about the organizations.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and go first, Jackie? What was your organization?
So my organization was the Watertown Family Center, which is a local center for families to go. They provide play groups. Like they have a drop-in play group where you can just go and your kids can play with other kids, and they have a lot of play equipment. It's indoors, which is kind of nice, especially here in Wisconsin when it snows in March. And so they only do that during the school year. So during the summer, the kids can go outside. But they also offer a structured play group, which has more learning and things like that in it. And then they teach parenting classes, and they also teach other classes too. But the topics vary from month to month.
Okay, so how did the person that you interviewed get involved in this organization?
So the person that I actually involved, she's actually a friend of mine. It just kind of worked out nicely for me this week. But she actually used to work for Big Brothers Big Sisters. And the Watertown Family Center is actually located close by. And the director of Big Brothers Big Sisters here is friends with the director over at Watertown Family Center. And so they go into each other's offices and chat all the time. And so she was like, oh yeah, I've got a position open. And so my friend actually worked at both places for like a year and then had to quit one of them and stuff. So that's kind of how that came about. She is just got her bachelor's in human services and is working to get her master's right now. So this was kind of right up her alley.
Wow. Okay, so what did she see as the most prevalent problems for families in your community?
Just a lack of knowledge. They see a lot of families. I was really surprised because I remember they've been around for quite a while. And so when my kids were in elementary school, we would get, flyers home about these classes that they teach. They're called Love and Logic Parenting. And she said that they get like between 15 to 20 people every time they teach, they start teaching that class, which I think is great. But it just goes to show you how many people need help parenting their children. And she said that it shows in their kids because they offer free daycare while the class is going on. And she said you can tell that these kids have not had discipline in their home and things like that. Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's kind of scary.
Okay, so I think you kind of answered the next question.
Oh, okay.
How does the organization help children and families locally?
Yeah, right? A big part of it is, they're trying to get families out, which I think is really good. We talked about how, a lot of times stay-at-home moms feel very isolated. And so having these play groups, kind of gives them a chance to socialize a little bit and also gives their kids a chance to, play and, get their energy out and stuff instead of, being stuck in front of a TV or a computer or, an electronic device. It gives them a chance to get their energy out and things like that. So, yeah.
Great. Okay. That the organization is child or family focused?
I think it's both. I think it's, child focused on that. They have the play groups, obviously that's a benefit to the child, but then they also have the parenting classes, which would be a benefit to the family. Sorry. All right, Darcy, what's the next question? Sorry.
Okay, what were your 2 other questions that you asked?
I asked her how well. Oh, Kelsey's calling me. Go call Kelsey. Of course, my daughter's calling me. I asked her, how well they're being received, like how well the community utilizes their organization. And she says not very well. She says she doesn't think a lot of people know about it, which I would agree. Like their seminars that they hold every month, I didn't really know about them. I mean, I see like the flyers and stuff, but I don't really pay that close of attention. And so, and then I also asked her, who they would really like to serve, like what families she thought could most benefit from their services. And we have a heavy Hispanic population in our town, our city. And a lot of them don't utilize the service because they don't have somebody there that speaks Spanish. And so it really has kind of hindered them in being able to help that sector of the population or segment of the population. So,
okay.
Yeah. All right. That's kind of
That's pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of that video that we had to watch about that old ladies organization that when her husband died and she bought back his. Is this the right class? Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong class. You have to watch that
That's 4:30.
Okay, never mind. But it reminds me of that one.
What class is that?
It's Family 430. It's the child, family, community. What?
We read from that book.
Oh, wow.
That's the book we read a chapter of for this.
Yeah.
Week. So
Yeah. The same chapter, the same week. Yeah.
Like with all those like acronyms for all those organizations that are supposed to help the family, but then, oh, I hated that chapter.
Yeah. That's part of that book. Okay,
Sorry,
Karen.
I did not like that chapter.
all right.
All right, Darcy.
Karen, tell us about your organization.
Okay, my organization, I talked to our town councilman, Ted Stampley.
Oh, cool.
He's a good friend of mine, and I often go to him for things like this. So, sorry, I was sending an email when should have been listening. Okay, so the town councils basically, they lead any kind of decision-making needs of the town. They organize, the roads, the schools, all of those kind of things. The reason I got involved with this is when I moved here 13 or so years ago, we moved here and they were having a celebration, a kids' day is what they call it. And we thought that would be the best thing to get our kids out of the house, away from boxes. And I met this particular person. He was running for town council for the first time. He owns a couple of restaurants in town, and he's just a really amazing person, councilman. He really has the needs of our town that he focuses on, which I think now the town council is kind of all that type of group versus 13 years ago, we had almost a bipartisan situation. So he's done a lot to help bring that to camaraderie versus confrontational. It's what do you see are the most prevalent problems for our community here, and it was growth. I know that sounds like it should be an exciting thing, but in the past 15 years, they've built 3 high schools, 6 middle schools, and 7 elementary schools in just our county, our town, which he has, his concern is how the roads that, if you lived here, you would know what I'm talking about. Because I live just right outside, the road right outside mine is the one that's been the contentious part for so long. But because of the immense growth, we live maybe 15 minutes outside of Columbia, the state capital, 9 miles really. So we don't really have anywhere to grow. And that growth has caused the infrastructure of the town to be even more congested and difficult. So his main concern for the families in the community here is to fix the broken, he didn't say infrastructure, and I didn't write down. I don't know what to call it. The roadmap or the dynamic of how it's set up. There's not a real easy way to get, there's only one easy way to get in and one easy way to get out. There needs to be more roads, more main roads. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's his main focus on that.
Okay. So it's kind of a family focused thing rather than a child, right?
Absolutely. It's family focused. They do a lot for kids. The next question, how does the organization help children and families locally? There's a lot of, well, we have a couple homeless shelters, a soup kitchen. There's parks in for every 4 elementary schools, there's a park. We've got quite a few parks. They monitor and fund a very small young youth rec league. That's all done through the town council. They do a lot of celebrations. Those, that was one of my extra questions. So there's a lot of social interaction. That's a big part of Lexington, South Carolina. We have the Kids Day I talked about. There's fall festivals, a Christmas lighting. They have farmers, oh my gosh, what's like like every other Saturday from March to October, there's a farmers
market.
Thank you, market. And that's a big thing that they build a parks in the center of town, specifically for that. And that's a big draw for the more rural part of the county. Like I said, it's a family-based focused organization, more so than just the child. Does your organization strive to strengthen the family or to step in to help children? And I think both of those. They've got, we have an interfaith community center. We have the Lexington Baptist, I don't know what it's called, but it's a community center. And then we also have where our town council meets, there's another community center that's also based for children. I mean, the kids can go there after school. So the last 2 questions that I asked, how are they dealing with the growth in the town? And they have a 10-year plan providing more funding, and they're putting a tax levy up. He said, providing funding for schools by the way of tax levies to build some additional schools to alleviate the overcrowding in the schools, which is more of a child-based benefit. And how often are their family-friendly activities? And he said multiple times through the years, probably once or twice a month, which seems like there's always something going on. So I I've often thought of running for town council myself, so that's why I got involved with talking to him. I figured he was a good one to go to for such an event as this interview. And I like
Very cool.
like going to his restaurant. They have great sandwiches.
That's pretty cool.
You guys
Yeah.
have any other questions? You can visit the website. It is www.lexingtonlex.sc.org.
Cool.
Cool.
All right.
Okay. So mine was whoops. Mine was Cops for Kids. I interviewed a guy named Kevin. He's a cop, and he said that about 20 years ago, this organization started at his station. So they kind of were trying to recruit cops to help out with it. So what they do is around Christmas time, they'll talk to the schools, the local schools, and they'll ask, are there families that need help, or that kind of thing. And then they get the information about the children within the families. And they focus on kids under 12, but he said that they have helped teens before. They have given gifts to teens. Like if there's a family that has, a teenager also, then they'll provide them with gifts as well. And the officers, actually, a group of officers will take the gifts to the family to present them to the family. And so the kids are all excited because they have all these cops that they get to interact with and stuff when they deliver the gifts. So he said that the most prevalent problems that he saw for the families within our community was not having two parents in the home. He also thought, like Jackie's, that people were not educated, like the poor families were not educated enough. And then I kind of answered the next one. So they connect with the local schools and find the families that are in need. Then they gather the gifts that are needed. He did say that one time they were able to supply a young boy with a wheelchair that he really needed. So I thought that was kind of cool. And he felt that the program was both child and family focused, because as they helped the children and stuff, it also had an effect on their families as well. And then I asked him if his organization also enlisted other volunteers, and he said yes, they always are enlisting other volunteers. And it's actually, they have a website. It's Cops for Kids, and it's kind of a cool website. And then I asked him how his organization was funded, and he said that to get companies to make donations, but then they also do, the cops actually do fundraising. And he said the funnest or the best, whatever, fundraiser that he likes to do is when they go to Chili's and the cops go in and they actually are your servers. And he said that they make what is over, like what the waitresses make. So anything above their tips, then they get. And he said one night they made $5,000. And I was like,
holy cow.
I know, in one night. And just, I'm sure that everybody was like, knew they were going to be there and was just like in donating mode and, giving mode and everything. But I thought that was pretty cool. So, yeah, it totally made me want to like look into it and kind of be a part of that and help them and stuff too. So, but that was mine.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That made me think of something that our high school does. There's a teacher in our high school. Actually is a member of a ward. He's the bishop of a ward, not far from where my ward meets. But anyway, when he got in a car accident, his youngest daughter, due to that accident, and since then he has done, it's called Ella Stuff a Stocking. So that made me think of that. And every year they adopt families in the community. I should have interviewed him. Darn. Anyway, every year they adopt hundreds of families in the community, and the kids at our high school, through their crew, which is kind of like a class where they just get together and talk about social situations like drinking and driving and that kind of thing. They adopt a family, so there's probably 100 or so families that get adopted, and the kids either raise money or donate gifts to make the family Christmas what it should be. It's pretty cool. It's a really neat thing to watch. And then in the summer they do a Ella 5K run, and that is all to help fund that. So I should have interviewed him.
Well, you could still interview him.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to him tomorrow.
Yeah, that's
Anyway.
pretty cool.
All right.
Okay, so I have no idea how to summarize this week's meeting.
I would just
First,
go ahead.
I was going to say there's just diversity in each community. I mean, you can find good businesses and bad, I think. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I think that community programs are like beneficial, and the communities are in need of them. So I think that would be a good summary.
I agree.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right. Well, Elise, you have a great night.
You
All
too.
right.
And we'll see you
Thank
next
you.
week. All right. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.